Imagine a grand stage where the spotlight never fades, where applause is the air they breathe, and where the mirror is their most trusted companion. Now imagine that same stage suddenly goes dark, the applause dies away, and the mirror shatters into 1,000 irreparable fragments. This is the reality that awaits every narcissist, the inevitable moment when their own inflated ego becomes the very instrument of their downfall. Today, we are going to explore a phenomenon as old as time, yet as relevant as ever in our modern world. We will delve into how the narcissist, who has long thrived on the adoration and control of others, is destined to face a reckoning that will reveal the cracks in their seemingly impenetrable armor. In this discussion, we will uncover the intricate psychology behind narcissism, expose the paradox of their self-created grandeur, and illustrate how every act of self-glorification inevitably sows the seeds of their own demise. Stay with us until the end, because the insights you're about to receive might not only transform your understanding of narcissistic behavior, but also empower you to reclaim your own sense of self-worth and clarity when faced with manipulative dynamics. Before we dive deeper, I want to thank you for being here. Your presence matters, and so does your engagement. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with anyone who might find it valuable. Together, let's create meaningful conversations around topics that truly matter. Now, let's begin. In the intricate world of human relationships, few personalities evoke as much fascination and frustration as the narcissist. Defined by traits such as grandiosity, entitlement, manipulation, and a lack of empathy, narcissists often leave a trail of emotional devastation in their wake. They thrive on admiration, demand unwavering loyalty, and frequently disregard the needs and feelings of others. For those who have encountered a narcissist, whether in a romantic relationship, family dynamic, workplace setting, or social circle, the experience can be deeply painful, leaving victims questioning whether they'll ever escape the narcissist's grip. Yet, despite their seemingly impenetrable armor, narcissists are not invincible. Beneath their polished exterior lies a fragile core, a wounded soul grappling with unresolved trauma, insecurity, and fear. The same ego that fuels their dominance and charm also becomes their Achilles heel, leading them down a path of self-destruction. This is where the concept of karma, or psychological reckoning, comes into play. While narcissists may appear untouchable in their quest for control, their relentless pursuit of validation and superiority inevitably sets the stage for their downfall. At the heart of this exploration lies a fundamental truth. Narcissists operate from a place of ego, pride, and self-centeredness, qualities that make them incredibly vulnerable to their own undoing. Their entire identity is built on external validation and dominance over others. When these pillars crumble under the weight of their own actions, the narcissist is left exposed, powerless, and unable to cope. By understanding the psychological mechanisms at play, we can gain insight into how their ego becomes the catalyst for their demise. Let's begin by examining the psychological underpinnings of narcissism. At its core, narcissism is rooted in deep-seated insecurity and fear. Narcissists construct elaborate facades to shield themselves from pain, rejection, and inadequacy. Admitting fault or relinquishing control threatens to dismantle these defenses, exposing the raw, fragile self beneath. As a result, they cling fiercely to their illusions, resisting any challenge to their self-image. Breaking through this resistance requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Their ego, while initially serving as a protective mechanism, ultimately becomes a double-edged sword. It drives them to seek admiration, dominate others, and avoid accountability at all costs. However, these behaviors create a ripple effect, alienating those around them and isolating them from genuine connection. Over time, the narcissist's inability to sustain meaningful relationships, coupled with their refusal to confront their flaws, leads to their inevitable downfall. Through this process, we see how their ego, once a source of strength, becomes the very force that dismantles their carefully constructed reality. Now let's explore how the narcissist's ego leads to their downfall. Each of these outcomes represents a potential turning point, a moment when the narcissist is forced to reckon with their behavior, lose their grip on power, or face consequences they cannot evade. While no single factor guarantees transformation, together they form a powerful framework for accountability and healing. 1. Loss of control. One of the first signs of a narcissist's downfall is their loss of control. Narcissists thrive on maintaining dominance over others, dictating the terms of relationships, and ensuring that their needs are prioritized above all else. When someone asserts their independence or refuses to comply with their demands, the narcissist feels exposed and threatened. Imagine a scenario where a victim of narcissistic abuse finally stands firm, setting boundaries and refusing to engage in the narcissist's manipulative games. Instead of reacting defensively or emotionally, the victim calmly states, "I value myself too much to tolerate this behavior." This approach denies the narcissist the sense of superiority they crave, leaving them scrambling to regain control. For victims, recognizing the narcissist's loss of control can provide a profound sense of empowerment. It affirms that their strength has disrupted the narcissist's power and forced them to confront their limitations. This outcome reassures victims that justice is being served, even if it takes time to unfold. 2. Erosion of narcissistic supply. Narcissists depend heavily on external validation, what psychologists call narcissistic supply, to sustain their inflated sense of self-worth. This supply comes in many forms: admiration, attention, praise, and even fear or envy from others. When someone withdraws this validation, the narcissist is left adrift, stripped of the fuel that powers their ego. Consider a scenario where a narcissist tries to elicit sympathy or admiration from someone who has grown immune to their tactics. Instead of offering the attention they seek, the person responds with indifference or detachment. "I hear what you're saying," they might reply, "but I'm choosing not to engage in this conversation." This approach denies the narcissist the emotional energy they feed on, forcing them to confront the emptiness within. The loss of supply triggers a crisis of identity, leaving the narcissist desperate and disoriented. Stripped of distractions, they may begin to recognize the unsustainable nature of their reliance on external approval. This realization can serve as a powerful motivator for change, pushing them toward healthier ways of seeking fulfillment. For victims, witnessing the narcissist's loss of supply can provide a sense of vindication. It affirms that their suffering has not been in vain and that the narcissist's dominance was ultimately unsustainable. This outcome reassures victims that justice is being served, even if it takes time to unfold. 3. Exposure of their true nature. Another significant sign of a narcissist's downfall is the exposure of their true nature. Narcissists rely heavily on their reputation and social standing to sustain their ego. When their flaws or misdeeds are revealed in front of others, it undermines their carefully constructed facade and leaves them feeling exposed and powerless. Public exposure might occur in a variety of settings: a workplace scandal, a family gathering, or even online platforms where their behavior is called out. For example, imagine a narcissist whose hypocrisy is revealed during a community event. Friends and acquaintances turn their backs, leaving them isolated and discredited. The shame and embarrassment of such moments can trigger a profound crisis of identity, forcing them to confront their insecurities. While public exposure is not always ethical or advisable, it underscores the importance of accountability. By shining a light on the narcissist's actions, we challenge their dominance and inspire collective action against their toxicity. From a psychological perspective, exposure serves as a form of justice, ensuring that their misdeeds do not go unnoticed. For victims, witnessing the narcissist's public downfall can provide a sense of vindication. It affirms that their suffering has not been in vain, and that the truth has finally come to light. This outcome reassures victims that justice is being served, even if it takes time to unfold. 4. Alienation from others. As the narcissist's ego grows unchecked, they increasingly alienate those around them. Their relentless need for validation, coupled with their inability to empathize with others, creates a toxic environment that drives people away. Friends, family members, colleagues, and even romantic partners eventually grow tired of the narcissist's manipulative tactics and self-centered behavior. Consider a scenario where a narcissist repeatedly exploits their loved ones, expecting them to sacrifice their well-being for their benefit. Initially, some may tolerate this behavior out of fear or obligation. However, over time, the narcissist's actions erode trust and goodwill, leaving them isolated and alone. Without a support network to prop up their ego, the narcissist spirals into despair, unable to cope with the absence of admiration and attention. For victims, recognizing the narcissist's isolation can provide a sense of closure. It affirms that their decision to distance themselves has dismantled the narcissist's control and forced them to confront their limitations. This outcome reassures victims that justice is being served, even if it takes time to unfold. 5. Confrontation with reality. Narcissists excel at rewriting reality, gaslighting others, and deflecting blame to maintain their narrative. However, there comes a point when their lies and manipulations catch up with them, forcing them to confront the truth. This confrontation often occurs when irrefutable evidence of their wrongdoing is presented, leaving them unable to deny or rationalize their behavior. This confrontation might involve presenting concrete proof, text messages, emails, recordings, or witness testimonies that expose their lies or misconduct. For instance, imagine a narcissistic partner whose infidelity is revealed through explicit messages or photographs. When presented with undeniable evidence, they are unable to dismiss or rationalize their behavior, leaving them exposed and vulnerable. Confrontation works best when delivered calmly and assertively. Avoid engaging in arguments or allowing the narcissist to deflect responsibility. Simply present the facts and hold them accountable for their actions. This approach not only dismantles their defenses, but also empowers you to stand firm in your truth. For victims, witnessing the narcissist's inability to deny the truth can provide a sense of vindication. It affirms that their suffering has not been in vain, and that the narcissist's dominance is ultimately unsustainable. This outcome reassures victims that justice is being served, even if it takes time to unfold. 6. Self-imposed isolation. As the narcissist's ego continues to drive their destructive behavior, they often isolate themselves further, both intentionally and unintentionally. Intentional isolation occurs when they push people away through manipulation, aggression, or outright hostility. Unintentional isolation happens when others distance themselves due to the narcissist's toxic behavior. Imagine a scenario where a narcissist lashes out at a colleague during a meeting, accusing them of incompetence and undermining their contributions. The colleague, along with others who witness the outburst, begins to distance themselves, recognizing the toxicity of the relationship. Over time, the narcissist finds themselves surrounded by fewer and fewer people, amplifying their feelings of loneliness and inadequacy. For victims, recognizing the narcissist's isolation can provide a sense of vindication. It affirms that their decision to walk away has dismantled the narcissist's control and forced them to confront their limitations. This outcome reassures victims that justice is being served, even if it takes time to unfold. 7. Desperation and self-destruction. When faced with the collapse of their carefully constructed reality, narcissists often respond with desperation, attempting to regain the admiration and validation they crave. This desperation can manifest in various ways: manipulation, guilt-tripping, smear campaigns, or even physical aggression. However, these attempts often backfire, further alienating them from those around them. Consider a scenario where a narcissist responds to their isolation by spreading lies about their former friends or colleagues, attempting to tarnish their reputations. Their actions are driven by a desire to undermine others and assert their superiority. However, when their tactics fail and they are exposed, the narcissist is left feeling powerless and humiliated. For victims, recognizing the narcissist's desperation can provide a sense of closure. It affirms that their decision to distance themselves has dismantled the narcissist's control and forced them to confront their limitations. This outcome reassures victims that justice is being served, even if it takes time to unfold. 8. Potential for redemption or ruin. Ultimately, the narcissist's downfall forces them to choose between redemption and ruin. Some narcissists, recognizing the futility of their usual tactics, choose to embark on a journey of self-discovery, seeking therapy and support to address their underlying issues. They may begin to develop greater self-awareness, empathy, and accountability, adopting healthier patterns of interaction. Others, however, may double down on their defenses, retreating further into denial and isolation. Unable or unwilling to confront their flaws, they continue down a path of self-destruction, alienating those around them and perpetuating their toxic behavior. This choice reflects the interplay between free will, circumstance, and personal responsibility. For victims, witnessing the narcissist's trajectory can provide a sense of closure. Whether they choose growth or self-destruction, the outcome affirms that their decision to walk away has dismantled the narcissist's control and forced them to confront their limitations. This outcome reassures victims that justice is being served, even if it takes time to unfold. Together, these 8 outcomes form a comprehensive framework for understanding how the narcissist's ego leads to their downfall. While the process is rarely straightforward or immediate, it reflects the interplay between psychology, circumstance, and human resilience. By recognizing these signs, we gain hope and clarity in navigating the complexities of narcissism. So, where does this leave us? Is it truly possible for a narcissist's ego to dismantle their carefully constructed reality? The answer is complex, reflecting the interplay between faith, circumstance, and personal responsibility. For some, these mechanisms lead to profound accountability and transformation. For others, they result in irreparable damage to their ego and influence. Regardless of the outcome, understanding these factors empowers us to approach narcissism with greater empathy and resolve. In closing, let's return to the question posed at the beginning of this video. How does the narcissist's ego lead to their downfall? The answer lies in their loss of control, erosion of narcissistic supply, exposure of their true nature, alienation from others, confrontation with reality, self-imposed isolation, desperation, and ultimate choice between redemption or ruin. By recognizing these outcomes, we gain hope and empowerment in navigating the complexities of narcissism. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of one of the most transformative dynamics in human psychology. If you found this discussion insightful, please show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with others. Your feedback means the world to me, so don't hesitate to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts or experiences. Until next time, remember, the narcissist's downfall isn't just about their destruction. It's about reclaiming your power and building a life rooted in authenticity and love. You've got this.